Background: this story is narrated by Chloe, the younger sister, who experienced a tragic past life defined by the destructive, busybody nature and misguided kindness of her mother, Doris. Doris consistently prioritized her side of the family over her husband, George, and her two daughters, Chloe and Sarah. Chapter 1: The price of misguided virtue. In the previous timeline, Doris's misplaced generosity ruined everything. She co-signed a massive bank loan for her brother, Mike, the uncle, to buy a failing brick factory. Mike disappeared, leaving the astronomical debt to the family. George, trying to pay it off, took dangerous work in a coal mine and was killed in a collapse. Doris's actions continued their downward spiral. When her nephew, Ryan, Mike's son, needed money for a bride price, Doris arranged a cruel bride exchange. She forced Sarah to marry the wealthy bride's older brother, a notorious gambler, ultimately leading to Sarah's brutal abuse and eventual suicide. Finally, Chloe was betrayed by Harold, a paralyzed relative Doris had taken in, who drugged and handed her over to loan sharks to settle his gambling debts. Chloe was tortured to death. This time around, Chloe is reborn, waking up the moment Doris is about to sign the fatal guarantee. Chapter 2: The critical signature. Chloe opens her eyes just as Mike is smiling slyly, pushing the loan agreement toward Doris. That astronomical debt had once shattered their family. Despite Chloe's frantic warnings, Doris, swelling with pride over her reputation for being the most helpful person for miles around, brushed her aside. "It's just a signature. It doesn't cost us anything," she declared, and scribbled her name onto the document. Chloe realized that mere words could not change her mother's fundamental nature. The next event proved her right. When Ryan came weeping to the house, claiming he couldn't afford the large bride price, Doris, without a second thought, proposed her vile plan: why pay a dowry? Let's just exchange brides. Ryan marries their daughter, and Sarah marries their son, the one who is known for his issues. No money needed. Sarah was terrified, and George was stunned. Chloe knew she had to take drastic action to stop the previous timeline's horror. Chapter 3: The painful separation. Chloe pulled her father and sister aside, her voice laced with desperation. "Dad, you need to divorce Mom now. Sarah and I will stay with you." George, an honest and traditional man, initially resisted. Sarah, too, felt that abandoning their mother was wrong. Only when Chloe detailed the exchange plot and the crushing debt did George finally crumble. George gave Doris an ultimatum: either she retrieved the guarantee and stop interfering with her birth family, or they would divorce. Doris proudly refused, believing she could force her daughters to follow her will. Soon after, Mike and his wife, Linda, burst in, playing the victims and demanding Sarah be sacrificed. Doris declared, "I gave birth to both of them. I decide who they marry. This is your filial duty." In that moment, Chloe's last emotional tie to her mother snapped. She grabbed a kitchen knife and lunged toward Ryan, screaming, "You want my sister in an exchange marriage? Fine. You die first." Chloe's calculated madness terrified Ryan and forced Doris to back down from the exchange. But Chloe was done negotiating. She pressed the matter of divorce. George took Doris to the courthouse, and within minutes, they returned with the finalized divorce papers. Doris, still convinced they would fail without her, sneered, "You take your two burdens and live your miserable lives." Chapter 4: The void of vanity. Freed from Doris, George, Sarah, and Chloe began to thrive. George cooked a large, hearty meal, celebrating the first time their food was kept for the family. They secured their savings and firmly refused Doris's attempts to reclaim the money for Mike's debt. Doris, unable to break her habit, remarried and quickly fell into her old patterns. She took in the paralyzed relative, Harold, causing conflict with her new husband, who eventually abused her and left her. Just like in Chloe's past life, Harold and his gambling associates humiliated and assaulted Doris to cover his debts. Facing complete ruin and disgrace, Doris was forced to move in with Harold's family to serve as their caretaker. Yet, her obsession with her reputation and Mike's debt persisted. She sold Harold's family's entire harvest and livestock to pay Mike's loan interest. Driven by her delusion of being the ultimate benefactor, Doris secretly took out a massive loan from loan sharks to fully pay off Mike's bank debt. She did it to bring Mike and Linda home for the holidays, believing she deserved their eternal gratitude. On Christmas Day, Mike and Linda returned, only to beat Doris to death with a chair to avoid the crippling interest payments of the loan shark debt. The very people she sacrificed everything for became her executioners. Later, they even attempted to sell her ashes to settle their debts. Conclusion: the phoenix rises without the toxic anchor of Doris. George and his daughters flourished. Sarah became the top student in the district and attended a prestigious university. George took Chloe's advice, sold the family land, and started a lucrative junk and salvage business. When the county underwent rapid development, George became wealthy. 3 years later, Chloe also excelled, joining her sister at the same elite university. George became a local legend, a humble man who raised 2 golden phoenixes. Sarah and Chloe established successful careers in the capital city. George bought each of them a house, and the 3 of them lived a secure, happy life, finally free from the poisonous pursuit of a self-serving reputation. The profound message is that true goodness begins with protecting and cherishing your core family. When virtue is based on external validation rather than genuine responsibility, it becomes a devastating vice. Doris's life was a testament to the tragedy of a soul who prioritized an empty title over the love of her own flesh and blood.